That was Silver Shamrock by White Bat Audio. Now playing Solstice by Utho Riley.
Alright, hopefully coming out of the gate a little bit more polished this time. Let's turn off Be Right Back. And let's turn off the starting soon. And let's rearrange these things. Get this over here. Adding something new to the stream today. I did one reason why I didn't stream yesterday. Because I got into this and I was like, I knew I should be streaming this thing, but I didn't. I think I was in my jammies all day, in bed most of the day, so I didn't stream this thing that I've been writing. I'll run it, and we'll see how this little gizmo goes. Let's close that. And this, let me go to grab the chat from, I didn't do that, as far as a pre-stream checklist. And that would be part of the pre-stream checklist is to get the YouTube video ID, which I need to grab from here. This is it. That's this guy. We'll come into here, and I'll paste that as... Did that automatically refresh? Did I... Huh. Is that really the... I'm almost not believing that GA6. Let me go verify what my... I have this set to always on top. It's an option that I'm playing with, so let me turn that off. And hopefully I can actually still bring it to the foreground. It is my own software, so it is probably going to be buggy, and of course it doesn't come to the foreground. Interesting bugs. Yeah. I'll close that and I'll restart. Anyway, this GA. Let's come to my content live. I should see this one. And this is GA. Yesterday, 2 days ago was this one, and that is 1DC. So this GA is what it is. Maybe since I my theory here on this one is that since I had been doing the go live, since I had not started any of those streams, then it wasn't reassigning me any new IDs, and that ID has probably been the same for the past 2 days since I clicked a new go live. So that looks to be just fine, and hopefully this thing launches. And of course, it didn't remember that. Here is a bug on that. So this is GA, this is live. I guess talk, text, semantics. Yeah, that one, that one, and this one. And I'll show that off in a bit. Let me close. This was me playing with, I haven't explained the app yet, but what's showing on the screen here is I can close this one. This is going to be a minus that one. Actually, no, I don't want to do that yet because these are little, not exactly bookmarks, but they're little reminders of what I'm looking into. This, and if I bring OBS to the foreground, this is kind of my new-ish layout where I've written my own multi-chat, basically. Of course. So I've written my own multi-chat. That's what this is. If I come to goals and talk about live stream multi-chat, let's see if I can just do a double. Nope, it's got to be a triple. There we go. I don't have a name for it yet. I almost was thinking like frame, but some funky little PHRAYME or something, because these are all individual frames. I'm also got food here on the side, so I'm probably gonna be eating a little bit too. Probably a no-no on stream to do that, but whatevs. So I've got this multi-chat on the side. I'm also watching the audio levels. I've tweaked those. I think my microphone is not overdriving. I re-watched the stream from 2 days ago, and bam, right out of the gate, overdriving that microphone. It was like I was yelling at the microphone. Hopefully I'm not yelling at it too much, and hopefully it's not clipping too much. I see it's not like just exactly slamming up against that wall right now. So hopefully it's not doing that. If I were to yell at it, I think the compressor should kick in and kind of clamp it down, but cover your ears for a second. I'm going to do a hashtag note to self. 9 minutes and 15 seconds into the stream, I'm going to do a loud speaking and including maybe a yell in there test on the microphone level. So 3, 2, 1. This is me talking really loud, and it's really good. Compressor is doing a good job talking, keeping it down. Yeah, this is me yelling. Woo! Yeah, compressor did a pretty good job keeping that right up in the level. Okay. That's good. Excitement. Compressor kind of gives you a nice compressed narrow range of talking. Keeps you in that kind of nice little amplified sweet spot. So you're neither too quiet. Like this is me whispering. This is me whispering right now. But you can hold a threshold on that whisper threshold. If you really want to whisper, then it won't do anything. If I whisper just a little bit more, it'll bring my level up to a certain amount. And then this is me talking normal. It keeps that down. And then if I scream like I'm not going to again a moment ago, then it'll slam it down. So I'm watching that audio level on the side. And I'm watching for chats because this was one of the things that I wanted to put, and I will be, as this evolves, I will be bringing this into the game streams. Because again, these behind the scenes are all about me practicing out under the pseudo pressure of not exactly informal, but it's not the game stream, so this is experimentation, so there's less pressure. But there is a pressure to somewhat perform semi-professionally here. I am going to partake in some of my food over here. I can stick it up here on the counter. I am having poke. I like. Went out of it. Ah, there we go. I like poke bowls. I have a little, some sort of probably fancy name for this little sauce that I'm putting on. So yeah, this player. I can do that. The microphone placement. I'm trying to work on that microphone placement. This is a different headset than I'll be using during gaming. Lessons learned on this will help me, and I'm also running this in 2.4 gigahertz. Last stream was talking a lot about. Go away. That needs to probably be enlarged. I've noticed that these splitters don't always work. There we go. Close that. Here we go. How do I? This is kick. It's a little different than the others. So why don't I block and mute? That one makes sense to me. So there we go. The splitter, I thought it would give you more of a grip. And here's the stupid YouTube chat, just doesn't resize until you have to make it. It doesn't float. They don't like properly set the chat controls at the floated on the bottom, anchor it. So you have to make it there's a minimum size. Whereas, and then once at that point, yeah, there we go. Then I can make it as big as I want. But that's just stupid. YouTube, come on. Learn how to write some web code. But these I can resize. They actually do kind of, they mostly properly. There's a little jump and stutter, but those two can scale pretty well. So I've adjusted the microphone position. I mean, I exaggerated that one. The swallowing on 2 streams ago, I could hear myself out of the gate. I was overdriving the microphone. Moisture, I don't know if there's a software filter I can do on that. I figure if I move it more away from my throat, and this is a very sensitive, it's bidirectional though, is what I was reading the specs, a little bit of the specs on the microphone. They say this is bidirectional, and I don't quite. If it's bidirectional, then obviously it's facing towards my mouth, but that also means it'd be facing away from my mouth. And why would it be picking up on? Why wouldn't it just do a cardioid microphone, which is a unidirectional? I think that's correct. But I can also play with moving this a little further away and further away and further away. And this is me talking over here. And the compressor's doing a pretty good job kicking it in right now. But I can tell it's not on the level. But still, it's doing a pretty decent job kicking it in. I can at least kind of talk and eat and not have that boom in my face all the time. Stirring in my poke sauce. This is a loud song. I'll jump that.
By White Bat Audio. Now playing Infinite Skies by Utho Riley.
I changed my Twitch and Kick categories to be like IRL. Since I'm not gaming right now, there's no reason to be a gaming. I am coding. I didn't see a coding category on. I didn't see a current coding category on Twitch or Kick. I have in the past. Maybe I just didn't look hard enough. Hashtag note to self. 15 minutes, almost 16 minutes into the stream, I'm eating, and how does that sound? How does my eating sound on the stream? Is it really bad? Is it too distracting, or is it forgivable? So, this browser that I wrote on the left side of the screen, and don't get me wrong, I didn't write the browser. It's just using Chromium, but it's a Qt application using Qt's version of Chromium. Qt web engine. And I wanted to do this similar when I was related to the Tari and the Qt media player. I am eating here. I could have eaten before the stream, but then that would have cut into stream time. And I mentioned the Twitch and Kick categories because I was browsing them a little bit yesterday, some of the IRL stuff, and there's some weird stuff. I mean, IRL stuff that goes on. And if people are watching it, so if people are watching that, maybe people watch coders. I was trying to find a coding category, a creative category, creators, makers, that sort of stuff. They're probably in there. I'll probably find a better category to do these behind the scenes in. But people are watching that, so hopefully I can get like people to participate. I have had in the past people join the stream and chat with me, real people, not just bots, not just advertisements like I banned there. I expect some rice to flip out here onto the keyboard.
That was Infinite Skies by Utho Riley. Now playing Proletariat by White Bat Audio.
I do apologize. You don't need to watch me have dead air time when I'm eating. But live streaming, you never know, and biological functions do play a factor when live streaming. It's a good audio test, right? It's just so good. Poke bowl. I've eaten most of it, but Hawaiian, flying Hawaiian poke. I've chaptered this up. I will. Especially when I transcribe this. When I transcribe it, it'll produce chapters and you can skip over this shit. So, the live stream multi-chat, I can bring you up, pop you out, minimize you, put you here. I don't need to stare at myself. It doesn't scale well. When I basically have it, this is the media player I was working on recently. It's kind of got a little up there on the list. Well, that's a little odd, but it shrinks this way. Okay, that's the smallest. That's the point. So, you know, leave it like that. The media, the chat, the multi-chat, I probably will still play with Social Stream. Excuse me. Social Stream does put in the in-game overlay, and I probably will want to do that when I'm gaming. It's more of an immersive experience in the game than you overlay that. So I probably will play with Social Stream for that. This behind the scenes channel is a little more creative freedom, a little bit experimentation, R&D type stuff for various different things like microphone placements and levels and filters. And so I had written this live stream multi-chat, variations of it in the past on my Windows PCs. On the actual gaming PC, I wrote it in C#, and it was very similar to this, but it wasn't quite. I wrote it by hand in C#, which is a more elegant language than what well, depending, it's arguably more elegant than what I wrote this live stream multi-chat, which it isn't a live stream multi-chat. It's more than that. It's just a browser. That's all it really is. I wrote this in Qt, and so the code for this is well, that's ugly, but did that collapse the whole thing? No, that's just the comment. And then I'll resize you and get you here. I do kind of want to watch the audio levels. I feel like the audio levels are, since I played with them right before the stream, I adjusted the compressor. I dropped it down just to show the filters. I dropped the compressor, all defaults. Everything is the defaults. The output gain is 0. Before I was plus 12, or I was plus 12 and then plus 6. Now I'm just down to 0. And I'm feeling confident that that audio level is good right now. I don't, hashtag note to self. This just a kind of hopefully final confirmation that the audio levels are good. And then I can kind of more comfortably background and not obsess about the monitor level, and that I can come here into more of a full frame mode with just the chat and then the topic on the screen here. I do want the chats on the side. I could do things like pull up chat on a phone and monitor that on the side. I could write an app to do that. Hashtag tangent here is that the writing software in 2025 is now a commodity available to the average Joe, and why wouldn't you just write any app you want if you can just articulate it to an AI? And so I could write a Qt app for Android. In fact, I could make a variation of this live stream multi-chat where I just run on Android, and I could have the chats on the phone here split, and that would probably fit on my phone. Maybe squish it. I don't know how that YouTube chat fits in This is me just kind of, these are not iframes. These are full-blown browser panes. This is 3 separate browsers inside of that, and basically what I have is this is all new code where for full screen stuff. I can show you on this where let me just pull out a new window. I added a new window ability, so I can create a whole new window. And then here is where it differs from most other browsers that I've ever seen, although I do recall there might have been versions of Netscape or Firefox that could do this, where they could dock things to the side, like OBS can dock, Qt apps can dock. Like I don't understand why Chrome is the way it is. And here is hashtag tangent 2. This is weird. This is so weird. Where, let's see if I do this, and then I'm looking at something on the screen here, and let's see. Let me find something relevant. Oh, hey, look at this. This looks like it's probably a good little mix here. Can I go? Let's see. Let's not do that. Let me pull up this one also, and basically, it's not in this. I can safely do new Chrome from here, relaunch to get that, and then maybe it will do in this. It's already, this is the Chrome Canary. Are you gonna relaunch? Here we go. Yep, Chrome is updated.
Now playing F1.
Pause.
NvK paddock showdown crash, but to John Fogerty, the old man down the road, by NightVsKnight.
And I think that pauses. Oh, it was. I did by closing it. It paused it. And then when it relaunches, this is why I wanted to write my own media player as a web player. If you ever re-enter this page, and it doesn't really matter. If I were to local host this and say persist to a cookie, yeah, I probably could get it to remember, but you're definitely running inside of a permission sandbox. But I have to basically rebrowse to the media folder and then re-give it permissions. This is just because I relaunched. And it's kind of a good thing I'm showing this. Now, and I say allow, and boom, here comes all the stuff that was loaded. And then I also need to set the now playing output folder. And I have an idea to not have to do this. If they select the folder for the media, I'm just going to put now playing right in the root of the folder that they selected. There's no need for 2 steps here. That's a change that I'll instruct AI to implement, and it could probably do it in 30 seconds. Local media player, media, and replace. And so now on the screen, you should see on the OBS, it's not playing anything. If I come in here and I hit play,
now playing extraterrestrial sphere,
then you now see extraterrestrial sphere by White Bat Audio. What I was hoping to show here is it says new. They don't have it here. Why is this not in Chrome Canary, but it is in Chrome Main? If that's the case, then let me close this. Let's let that play out in the background. I'll bring up normal Chrome. There we go. Normal Chrome. Bring up YouTube. And sure, here's a morphologist video. Open link in split view. Okay, let me pull this out. So I found this. It's weird the way the world works sometimes, where what you work on, I find what I'm doing somehow somewhere else in the world is like someone else also obviously already thought of it anyway. But my point is, open link in split view. The split view is really weird. Watch what happens to my tab. Bam. My tab is now 2 tabs. So, and now you've got these splits. The one tab now has two X's in it, and I question the usability and the graphics designer that came up with this brilliance. People that use the phrase anti-pattern use it to make themselves sound smart. But I question and wonder, when you have lots of tabs, another tab, another tab, 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 how many of us are like this and have all these tabs? Then you got this, and you got, like, what is the usability of having two? Like, I can't read the title of it. So
that was extraterrestrial.
just kind of wrapping up this tangent that Chrome now has, and I'm weirded out by the fact that this is not in Canary, but it is in mainline. Go figure. But now I can't even close these split tabs. I have to come up here. Oh, because it didn't have focus. If I bring up focus, there they are. But what's the usability of this? I guess I can't. These others, I can't close it until I focus it. I thought there was a time where you could close without having to foreground the tab in order to close. I thought I could just, like this, that tab is in the background. I thought I would get an X and I could just close. But I guess not. I have to click on the tab in order to close it, and that's just kind of weird. It's a bit of a loud song. Media key's not working, so I think because it's minimized. No, wrong window. This one. Nope. Media key. I'm hitting the media key. It's not working.
Skip run like hell. Now play.
I'm still hitting the media key. Media keys aren't working. I don't know what's going on. Let me see if this my command right arrow does work, but the media key is not working. Yeah, I thought you could see here. There's the X's. So there's the X's. If I don't know why, well, at what point in time they decided to make the X's disappear. They're all there. No, there they go. That was the split. Close that one. They're all there now. Tab, they all disappear. So at a certain point in time, once you get enough, does it depend on the width of the browser? If I go, yeah, there we go. There's the breaking point right there. And it's a variable. Some of them have it and some of them don't. That's odd. Oh wow, notice how some of them have X's and some of them don't, just because of the way the floating point rounding is going on the tabs, deciding each individual tab is doing its own calculation. All right, this sort of stuff will tie into my browser, which I don't have a good name for it. Just the random idea of frame came up. Let me close these. And talk about just the split tabs here, where now you can have these two splitters, and then you can adjust these and do side by side. It's, I guess, kind of cool, but this is what is going on with this, and great. So someone had the brilliance. What is this down here? What is this? What is this X down here and X down there? Why is this even here? Lower right corner X. Okay. And then why does this one not have any sort of a title, and this one does, and that one is that? And if I make this, that's as large as the tab gets. Like, that's it. You only get like single tab. I only get like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 characters before it starts fading. This is just weird. But now let me show you what I was working on. I think I already have a window open for it. So let me see if I can foreground it. There we go. And do this one. and do that. Yep. So we'll put these off to the side. It's probably, there's going to be a bug here. Minimize that, and hopefully the settings will understand what that is. Here, watch this. This is the gimmick, the feature of this frame browser, is that I can basically create as many even splits as I want. I think I have various tool options here. This is a clustered fuck of menu options at the moment. I'm going to improve these menu options because I'm realizing they all have the same title. I need to give them each individual window group should have kind of a cluster, a title associated with it. And I am toying with ways that I can bring in tiny AIs to be like more non-functionally. Like the AI would look at the 3 tabs and it'd be like, oh, these 3 tabs have these content. This should be the default recommended name of that grouping. And so you'd have grouping 1, group 2, group 3. I may for now just call it group 1, group 2, group 3. Or yeah. And a group has frames, and but basically, so I have these layouts, and I can say stack horizontally. If I do this, it's probably going to affect all the windows. I'm pretty sure I can already anticipate a bug where it basically lays out every window that way. And I've got 3 layouts, which I've got grid, which I'm probably going to use grid for this one. But I'm going to make this setting, and especially the always on top, I'm going to make these, I want to tab it, this is a very loud song. I want to see how I'm fighting with the levels. I should be doing levels pretty good on that. So I'm bring up Chrome here, and then frame. So I need to make always on top be on the group. That group would always be on top. This group wouldn't always be on top. My dirty mind's kicking in there. And then comment in the video if you have a dirty mind too. Hey, someone just texted as I was talking here, and I'm going to ban you, you fucker. Whisper and warn mod ban. What does whisper do? I thought whisper would how to get out of there? Okay. X. Yeah, it's just all these bullshit names. Get that YouTube chat back down here. So this browser it's 24 hours old. It's a little over 20. It's probably maybe 36 hours old. And I've written all this with AI, wrote 99% of it or whatever. So these menu options are kind of global across all groups. So forgive that for this demonstration, but I'm going to go stack horizontal, and oh, look at that. The AI figured it out. So basically I can minimize, yeah, and it's a little annoying, yeah, yes, yeah, yes, yeah, yes, yeah, yes. All right, now, got this here, and bring this here, and put this here, browse. And then this one, where is the title of this one? Wait, that's just YouTube, okay, and that's that. So this one was just YouTube, so bam, 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 enter, and then I can, it's called up down, and I guess when I tile things when I stack things horizontally, up, down, really doesn't make much sense. So I need to change this. But basically, I can make it go that way. And do you notice any similarity between this brand new feature of Chrome and what I've written? I didn't even know this feature of Chrome was a thing until a couple of days ago, but I'd already written this browser, this frame browser in C# many years ago, and I had chats. They were all horizontally stacked chats, probably like 5+ years ago that I wrote that. Let me get some light in here. I'm still eating. But what I want to do, so mine, I can stack that vertically. I can stack it as a grid. Grid's going to be horizontal. Interesting. Grid. I could have grid. Right now, if you select the same layout, if you're already grid and you're grid again, it's going to recalculate. So if I were to move this, I can hit grid again and it will reset and it evenly divide all the stuff. Now if I bring in a third, let's say I bring in, I don't have copy URL, so what I don't have is that sort of stuff. So if I come over here, my browser is most definitely copy link address. I need a copy link address. I have a to-do list on this, and I make just bullet points for this of downloads, copy link. What was the name of that? Copy link address. Pop-up menu.
That was not on my watch. Now playing The Forgotten.
There's a lot. There's gonna be downloads, browser history. How far down that rabbit hole do I really want to go? I don't really want to do it that way. This all started out as basically the thought of a way for me to replace what I had done in OBS. You could see it on some earlier streams. I'm not going to spend any time reproducing it, but I had a dock in OBS. You can come to your docks and you can have a custom browser docks, and basically here's the YouTube, Kick, and Twitch, and I've closed them. I can bring them up because they're kind of there, but here I could bring them up, and that's because it's not for the current stream. That would be the bad example to choose. And pull up Kick, and so I could stack Kick and Twitch, and so that was this, and that works, but that's always inside of OBS, and now I have to foreground OBS for that to be there. And I don't think I can actually just make you float. Could I have made you float? Can I make you float inside each other? I think you're floating independently, and that's kind of cool that I can make them float independently, but it's also kind of really annoying. And I could bring them back in, but I want to dock them inside of themselves, and so rather than do any of that, this multi-chat is why I wrote, and that's why the name of this is live stream multi-chat. But as I was writing it, I realized, well, why do that? Why not just why limit myself to chat? because I haven't lost my tangent yet. I know where I am on my tangent. How, pull up another window. How I get to there. How I created this view on the left was I created this grid, layout grid. It is layout grid. So here we go. If I add another one, there's the grid. Bam. So it figures that out. At what point in time? That's a bit of a tangent. Let me remove. I want 3 of them. Actually, no. Here I'll do. This is how I set it up. I went to YouTube. I went to Twitch. I went to Kick. And I would add a new one. GG. I haven't logged in yet, so I may have to redact to log in. But we'll see how that works. I'm already logged in on those. Let me bring this up and kind of maximize those. Here is where I'd basically, so in order to get into these, in order to create this one on the left, I went into each one of these where it was stacked vertically, not as a grid. And I went to the channel, and here's the chat, and I basically did pop out. And so where this browser is different is that I don't support pop-outs. Pop-outs in Qt, it's kind of interesting how the code was implemented, and it's right on the edge of where I have almost lost the tangent, but I promise I haven't lost the tangent. It's just in these first few lines of code, I was talking about the escape filter, but right below it is where it's interesting and important, is the create window. When you have a pop-up, these window types show up as it's going to be a pop-up when, I'm going to split this to the side. Bring this over. So, you can, in order to handle pop-ups in the Qt web engine, you subclass this Q web engine view, and now that's my web engine view. And so I basically can define my pop-ups, and so I've defined a back and a forward and a reload. You can see that on the screen in the middle there, and I have a cut, copy, paste, select. The Qt web engine is fairly in a good way tightly integrated with Chromium state, and it knows whether to allow the action or not. And all I have to do is just define what I want to do for that action, and it will define whether that is valid or not. So here I'm just inspecting, can I do that page action? If so, then add the action. Otherwise, and just add the action, and then if the action isn't available, add the auto if auto. Yeah. I understand. I'm having just a hard time articulating that the Chromium logic is doing the work to decide whether this is enabled or disabled. And then I also added inspect. So that's basically my subclass of my. This is my customization on top of Chromium, and then I wrap Qt elements around that. So the pop-up here is you also, if you want to handle pop-ups in your browser, then you override this, and there are some examples out there of what to do in this create window. And I at first started to write some code, and it sort of functioned, but it was weird. And talking this through with AI, thinking of ways to optimize even just this line, whether I remove that type or use the Q unused, whatever. That if you just return this, then basically it'll say we're not going to do any pop-ups. We're not going to create any windows. We're not going to create any windows, not create any tabs, not create any dialogues. We're not going to create a background tab. We're just going to proceed forward with that link. And so that's what this does here is when I say pop out chat, instead of actually popping out a chat, it basically just goes to it. And then similarly, I'm not going to do it here on YouTube, but I went to create go live, and from there you go to the pop out chat, and from here on the kick, I went to the channel, and it's because of the size of it right now, but there it should come up that there's problems in the Frame app, which I haven't yet determined that that's going to be the name of the browser. I have a to-do task of that to basically it can play. I can play the YouTube vids, but I can't. For some reason, Kick and Twitch are saying that it's not a supported browser, so I can't view this content. But I am at least live, and I can see that. And can I get into the channel? I want to see the I don't know if it's that. There we go. Here, I just had to make it a little larger. And then here is the pop out chat, and that brings up that chat. And then on Discord here, I can basically log in, and I'm let me redact this. Practice a little redact here for a moment. Discord, you, and I'm just entering my password there, and then unredact, and verify something else, passkey security key, how to do that inside of this browser, and let me redact and do, I think they're going to ask for a backup code. And so let me redact that and see if I have a backup code I can use. I don't have any backup codes saved. So, redact. I don't know if that's gonna. I don't know if it's gonna work because of the browser. You have to kind of build this into the browser. So this is an interesting test, and I should make a note of it on get multi-factor authentication. Support passkeys. Which I don't know if it's not more important than the pop-up menu. Downloads are low important. Browse history is maybe. Bookmarks, it's not exactly going to be a traditional bookmark because I'm booking groups. It's now, forget the bookmarks. Bookmarks are so 1990s. It's all about groups. And so basically, since I've grouped, I'm not grouping tabs, I'm grouping frames because I'm all about the split frame. The frame browser is all about the frames, and I'm just grouping frames in and saving them as a group, and then I can pull up predefined frames, which I think I've got. Yeah, add preset collections that can be quickly recalled. So I'm not going to be able to do the Discord thing, but the theory was, if I just bring this over here, the theory was that when I get more during gaming, I would be using this during gaming, and I'd be able to just see everyone's chat. Whether I am or am not using Social Stream, Social Stream could be used for the overlay in the game, and it can add that overlay, that in-game overlay, and I can let it do that work. But I on my screen can have, and if I do the layout, if I fuck up the layout, I can always re-grid it, and basically that'll recalculate the layout, and then I can always kind of change the ordering too and put Discord at the top. Or this, again, I already mentioned this up down isn't really up down, it's a priority, so it's priority higher lower. These are inefficiently laid out, and when I do this, it's literally like it's rebuilding the whole collection, when all I have to do is really just like kind of essentially a blit in a way, is just swap its order. But no, this is going to redraw everything is what it does when I move this and that. Yeah, the Discord's a little more obvious. If I move Discord up the priority tree, and now it's at the top here. So that's this Frame browser and the browser wars that that I'm kind of playing with right now. And I was looking for ideas to name this browser, and thought it was funny that ChatGPT, I think you can pull it up here. Projects. Acronyms for a chat app. It was recommending, let's see if I can find it real quick. Here we go. Bam. ChatGPT recommended this name for my browser. Love it. That was fucking awesome. I definitely laughed when I saw that. So yes, let me name my browser what your browser is. Why don't you also recommend it? Recommend another option for my browser. Might be this thing called Chromium, or Firefox or Brave or Opera. Like, come on.
That was Oasis. Now playing Solar Wind.
So I'm not gonna name it Atlas. Some of these are some pretty stupid ideas. This was the chat where I started off with about come up with an acronym. Like, is there a cool acronym I can come up with for this browser? Because again, it's more of a generic browser. It's no longer a multi-stream chat tool. No longer a live stream multi-chat tool. I started off thinking, is it live stream multi-chat? Is it multi-chat live stream? It's a live multi-chat stream. Which one of those spells out something? LMCS, Mickles, multi-chat live stream is a Mickles. There's a Lizmk. Like, come up with some Lumic, Limes, Lamps, Lucid. It was like really trying with the live. Here's some other things. Chat Loom, EchoCast, like all these probably all taken already. It's very hard to come up with an original name. I'm kind of surprised with OpenAI chose Atlas. I know there's several products named Atlas, and so it's not a violation of any trademark because it's OpenAI Atlas. Or sorry, I think the real brand name is ChatGPT Atlas. So of course it doesn't compete with any other Atlas out there. My neighbor's 5-year-old kid is named Atlas. So there's a lot of Atlases in the world. How's my voice competing with this song? Hashtag note to self, 1 hour into the stream, how is my voice competing with the music? I keep saying audio when I really mean music, and I tend to be a fairly precise term type of guy because words matter. And I just get lazy around audio and not calling it music because music is different than audio. Come on. I'm gonna go get some water, and I'll be right back.
That was Solar Wind. Now playing Curriculum.
Can we just take a moment to appreciate Utho Riley's excellent music? I like this song. This is a good song. It's maybe a little light, a little frivolous, bright, but I like the song, and I'm gonna shut up for a moment and let you enjoy it. I'm even gonna mute.
That was Curriculum by Utho Riley. Now playing Solitude by White Bat Audio.
Huh. Well, when the mic desired is visible. Oh, I have the opposite. Go mute him. There we go. I had it backwards. And let me make sure that's stacked right. It should be over the laptop webcam. Okay. And so that's the live stream multi-chat, otherwise known as Frame. These are some some ideas that didn't have start with live. Hashtag note to self back from break. I'm out of water, so I'm probably gonna have to take another break to refill on the water because I just drank that whole thing. But was talking about the live stream multi-chat and kind of wrapping that up. That it wanted to do live, and just okay, fine. You're obsessed with that term because you want to just please me. Come up with some other terms. And for brainstorming, like if a human threw these out, I wouldn't mind. So why would I mind that an AI is throwing these out? So for brainstorming reasons, these are pretty good. Mock, smack, cast, but cast, really, come on, that can't be is it the cast browser? And I let it off. It's starting off live stream multi-chat, chat, not live, some other non-live, but still chat. Stuff, casting, blah, 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 all this stuff. Maybe a grid chat. So, I'm still thinking chat, grid. Oh, grid works. Oh, great, grid. Stop appeasing me. It's really annoying how sometimes AI is just so appeasing. Sorry, grid chat is a thing. That was not an original idea. Go figure. Oh well, but you can still use it. So a day later or two, I asked it. So what are my top contenders? And it said here's where we left off, and I'm like, new direction. I'd thought of this for a little bit longer, and I'm like, this is not a chat specific app. It's a general browser that lays out pages evenly in a grid, stack, vert, stack, horizontal. Oh, got it. So now we're talking about something broader than a chat. Okay, so here's some ideas. And it came up with grid, frame grid, tile, pane, view, stack. Grid. It's heavy on the grid, and I'm like, well, the frame sound like grid reminds me I can't hear the word grid without thinking of Tron and living on in the grid. Frame. There probably is a frame. I'm absolutely certain that this is not an original name thought at all, because it's very hard to have anything like that nowadays. But and there's pane. Well, pane can be a pain in the ass. There's stack grid, but we're not always stacking stack grid. Well, the stacks and grids are mutually exclusive, except when you're gridding with the horizontal, gridding with one or two elements, it's vertical. Anyway, I'm just brainstorming about how if I change grid, do I recalculate the whole layout, or if you're gridded vertically, what if I were to grid you horizontal? And I'm curious how how big the grid grows too. Like, can I grid it 4 by 4? Can I grid it 8 by 8? Like, how many browsers can I make here? And I also might want to scale them inside of it instead of have them all be like just shrunk now, as in browser, as in like mobile, that you shrink them enough. Well, all you're doing, you're not scaling them, you're just shrinking the window around the same size content, and eventually if they're reactive enough, then they'll dynamically pop and adjust on some little breakpoint that they have there. But I could see a version of this where I have like 16 by 16, all these little micro browsers. And why is that not a thing? I thought Netscape could do this. I thought Firefox used to be able to do this. Why did this stop being a thing? And now why is Chrome bringing back in split views? And why are they split horizontally? Why can't they be split vertically? Like, it's like, if you're gonna do it, do it. Anyway, the one that stuck out to me is Frame, and it gave me some other names. Mosaic. Well, that's really too close to Mozilla, but it's kind of a play on Mosaic. Mozilla. It's like a Mozilla Mosaic, but it's Qt based, so whatever. I had a project once where I thought Loom would be a good name. But DistroAV, Loom was up there as one of the terms. I think Loom's can be a cool name, but I think it's being overused a lot. Tessera, Canvas Grid, Frame, Loom, Atlas. Again, Atlas, another Atlas. Collage, WindowWorks. It's kind of lame. Multipane, Weaver. My neighbor's. That's my neighbor's name, so. Could match your existing naming DNA like AV Weave. Oh, well, that's pulling from memory. That was one of the names. DistroAV was AV Weave, Loom, AV Loom. Those were all possible names. I think that's even where it's probably pulling these from prior memory conversations of brainstorming for names. Some futuristic ideas that it thought were like OmniGrid, grid. I can't help again but think about Tron. I could give me some futuristic frame names. I'll get to that in a second. Spectra. It's not an OS, so that's stupid. Axis browser, facet browser, field browser, deck browser, array browser, plane browser, surface, gridless. Ironic. Ironic minimalist brand with design cred. Not sure. Form, top 7. How about Frame? Frame is excellent. Again, more of the appeasement. Hashtag note to self at 1 minute 15 seconds into the stream. How was my audio speaking over that very loud song? Frame is excellent. Frame is great. Visual frame. And then I asked it homophone those other ways to spell frame, and it gave me some of those froms and frims, and I'm still looking at that, but it could be in that area where it's kind of hip, maybe. I don't know. I'll run this by my 6, 8, and 10-year-old girls and see what they think. They'll probably want to call it the 6.7 browser, which I hear is already old. 6.7 is already, if you're talking 6.7, then it's already old. That's so last week. Frame Realm, but it's not Realm, a world of windows. Frame futuristic. Frame, reframe. Could play on reframe, suggesting maybe. But I think that's the end of the conversation. So that was some of the names for this browser. And right now, because it's just the way I compiled it, I'm calling it live stream multi-chat, but it's really a mega browser, a crazy browser. And I don't know if I can pull these up successfully. I think there's a bug in the way it pulls it up. So I'm going to close this, but that's what this is. And I will show if these pull up. That one's not pulling up. That one is pulling up. So if I close it and reopen it, they should all the ones that I hadn't closed should relaunch. I think there's a bug in the way I recall them. We're going to close this one and close this one here. Yeah, I'll use this as my demo and then close it. So I can close this. So this is basically a close. Minus is essentially a close, which is why it's in the upper right corner. You sure you want to get rid of that? Yes. So now I'm just down to this. And if I were to play this, it's going to compete with the music.
Here when they released the Voyagers update, which introduced.
Interesting. That's in another browser. So if I tab over to I'm not sure why this and that. Yeah, this one. So this is the Chrome split view. So can I split it horizontal? Or can I split it vertical? Can I split vertical? Arrange, close left, reverse the view. That's what you can do. It can arrange to separate the views. Close left. So you have the menu items for it, but you don't really have any like crazy control knobs for it. Yeah, just looking at any of the menu items that may be different.
That was Walk Without Rhythm.
Here's that same. So rather than right-clicking and going to this, separate, close left, close right, reverse. Here's the separate, close left, close right, reverse. Sure, why not arrange them vertically? Huh? Because then I could have. Then I wouldn't have needed to have written this. I could just put these three chats vertically on the side. Like, come on. So this is where it's interesting to me that I've had this idea for 5+ years, and I'm pretty sure it already existed. And all of a sudden, Chrome is now cool because they have this split view, and it's lame. Like, why can't I split view vertically? I can reverse. Great. Yay. And they're doing it efficiently. They're blitting it, and I'm not blitting mine. I can go in and probably do that fairly efficiently, I believe. So great. That's my ramble on the Chrome split views. But on mine, back to mine, I was playing with full screen. So here's that. Let me pause the music. Not that you really care. Not that there's anyone even in the stream. But if I play this and double check.
Big ships that you could design, build, and fly.
Yeah.
I was blown away. But aside from being able to make some.
And this is an example of why I don't want to hashtag audio tangent. Hashtag audio is that I don't want to capture. I've muted it. If you see in the lower right corner here, I've muted where I'm capturing the music app. I've got many different things in play here on this behind the scenes R&D experimenting. A lot of this is done. Don't I have a day job? No, I don't have a day job. Can't get a day job apparently for some reason. Tangent. Bring it back. Bring it back. I tried a word from our sponsor today of this thing. Didn't think this was very good. I bought I saw it on the same shelf as a word from our sponsor, Fig Newtons. I'm a sucker for those, and I got the fat ones, not the fat-free ones, because those things suck. No high fructose corn syrup on these gizmos. Maybe. They taste okay. And then I got yogurt covered. There we go. Raisins. I need a distraction from the job torture. So I'm doing all the stuff to keep myself relevant using AI. How would I use AI to write code, manage your bugs, MCP, hooking MCPs up, RAG stuff. I'm gonna integrate AI into the app, so if I can like brush up on that skill. So I'm doing this stuff because I can, because I'm unemployed. Being conscious whether I'm yelling at the microphone or not and just talking loud. I noticed that kind of coming in last stream, coming out of the gate, I was very loud. Not only was the... Oh, my wife, hold on a second. And that was my wife calling to tell me that I have to go pick up the kids. So wrapping up, because I got to go pick up the kids. And I'm going to end the stream in just a minute or two. That's the live stream multicast as it's compiled. May give it a name like Frame, where it's these multi-view things. And I'm experimenting with this. And I also just found it interesting that Chrome came out with split views, but they only split horizontal. They don't split vertical, and what I want is a vertical split. Because I've already written the horizontal split. I wrote the horizontal split 5 years ago. I was showing full screen before I go, is that this was, and I was going off on a tangent about recording audio, which I'm not going to go into that. But full screen. Basically, when you click this, it has to call back into the browser, and there's a whole bunch of work that has to go on when I click on this inside the web page. This button is going to tell the browser request full screen, and so off it goes and it requests full screen. And now I have to minimize the application in the background, because if the app was always on top, then it would be showing on top of this. So I have to grab a hook in my application for when the browser requests to go full screen, then the app has to hide itself. And then to exit full screen, you normally can hit F and exit full screen. But I also wanted escape to also exit. And so to wrap all this stuff up into a bow to be like, here is where I started the stream at, is basically up here, these very first lines of code on line 55 through 75. This is the ability for me to hook the escape key, and this provides an event that now I can hook the web engine into this because it's a parameter that's passed in. And so now we can inject in JavaScript code to exit when escape is entered, then we send that command into the browser and tell the browser DOM document or WebKit to exit full screen. So yeah, this is fun. I find this fun, but yet no one's... Where's the text me? I thought I had text me in this. Text me. Sad face. There we go. See, why did it do that? But whatever. I don't know what that symbol is underneath my frowny face. I thought that would have been in there if I refresh this page. And this is annoying. This this don't show again. Dismiss. I'm gonna refresh. Guess what shows again? Oh, hey, it worked this time. Amazing. It didn't work yesterday. I actually was gonna write code. One thing this thing can do is DOM patches, where I come in here and I added the ability to edit on this page, look for this selector element, and then apply that style to that element. And that basically lets me get rid of, you might see it pop in a second. If I refresh this, you're going to see right above that, this tiny little pop-up that goes away. So you can see it says, welcome to live chat. Remember to guard your privacy and something. So I added a little DOM patch to do that. All right, I gotta go because I gotta go pick up kids. I don't know if I'm gonna resume this, but I was kicking myself for not streaming yesterday because I've been wanting to do this every day that I can, and I didn't get around to canning it yesterday. All right, so thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. This stream was short at 1 hour and 30 minutes. All right, later. Bye.
I'm not this motherfucking night, bitch.